During this video, we are going to talk about individually assigning materials to individual students, as well as creating grading groups in order to assign to specific grading groups. If you click on your members, you will see that in the right-hand area, you have organized members into grading groups. It's kind of grayed out. When I hover over it, it says add a grading group. I simply have to select it and name my group, and then select the students I want to be in that group. Once I select them and click on create grading group, you'll see that the students are tagged with the group they are in. And I can continue to add groups as I see fit. And I can add a student to multiple groups. So you'll see the student belongs to 2 groups. So I can group them for projects. I can group students according to their needs. They might need some differentiating, whether it's to do some reinforcement or to perhaps add some more challenging work. I can determine how these groups work. Also, at any time, I can click on the gear next to the group to edit it and perhaps change the students, add students, remove students as I see fit. I can also delete groups as I also see fit. So let's look at how this works with materials. I can go to a particular folder. So let's go to Module 5 activities, and I can individually assign. So if I want to, I can individually assign it to a specific student, so just one student, and that would mean that that student and any administrators in the course will be able to see that folder, or I can select grading groups. So if I select on students, it will allow me to check box next to a particular student that I want individually assigned, or I can select my grading groups. Once I select a grading group and click next, I can then officially assign it to that group, and you will see that Module 5 activities are assigned to one group. I can always add more groups to this, or I can add individual students as well. If I go into an activity, I can assign a particular activity to a grading group or an individual student. So if I see maybe I only want a handful of students in this discussion, I can click on the gear next to the discussion title and edit it. When I go into editing mode of the discussion, you'll see at the very bottom, there's options in the lower left-hand corner, and you'll see these 3 dots. When I hover over them, they change color and it says individually assign. If I select that, a text box appears and I can start typing the name of my groups and it will pull up my groups, or I can pull up the name, start typing a student's name, and I can select on the student's name. So this is really great for differentiating. Maybe you have students working on a particular project together and you only want them in that discussion or in that folder, and you're going to help provide them with resources, or the student needs reinforcement or extra support. It's a nice way to be able to differentiate your class. And you'll see this is an individual activity or material, and it lists that it has one group aligned to it. So again, only that group and the administrators in the course can see this activity. The other students who are not in that group will only see the blended learning strategies activity and the folder that is also in this folder. So the group will see this and the other items. Anybody who is not in the group will only see the 2 items not aligned to a group. And it's a great way to help your students. Maybe you want to have them working on a project for adding discussions, adding a media album, perhaps adding resources for them to research for their project. It just is a great way to be able to meet the needs of your students. One thing to keep in mind is that this feature is only available in the enterprise version of Schoology. So again, this is a great way to differentiate for your students. I could click on options and individually assign within a folder That would be the entire folder, or I can click on an item, edit it, and go to the individually assigned icon at the bottom in the options area. And that's it for individually assigning materials to individual students and grading groups.